Hey, how's it going, ladies and gents? I'm your ever so humble host, Captain Gold, and you're watching the 10K sub milestone live stream. And today I'm being joined by my pals Clyde and Otis the Lightbender. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. How's everyone doing?
I can't see anything. All the lights crooked.
All the lights crooked? What the hell are you talking about, bro?
Otis bent it all.
Shut up, bro. Yes, you are the first person in Riven Forest. I hope I pronounced your username right. I'm terrible at reading. Yo, what's up, Cleasy? Okay, so what we're gonna do for this live stream is pretty simple. We're just gonna chill, like we did with the July the 4th special. We're just celebrating the fact that the channel hit 10K. If you are here in the chat, feel free to leave recommendations. If you want to start an argument with me, do that too. I really don't care. That said, we're going to look at some polls together. And the first poll that I have from my community post, which, by the way, if you haven't interacted with these, you can do that by going to my channel and hitting the community tab, because I do read the comments. So Otis, Clyde, you guys decide who answers first, but I want to know, where would you rather choose to survive if you had to, meaning that you have to choose out of these three options during the zombie apocalypse. Would you rather live in the Florida Everglades, the Sahara Desert, or Antarctica? So you guys figure out who wants to go first. And by the way, thanks, Cleasy, for the congrats.
All right.
You go ahead, Clyde.
Are you sure you want me to go first? Because I'm about to rant on this.
Yeah. Go ahead. My answer is pretty short, so.
All right. So this dude showed me this question yesterday, and he's like, "Hey, this is one of the questions I'm gonna have for the polls, and I'm gonna give you the exact same answer I had yesterday. They all suck. They're all awful. You got the desert, which is just no resources at all. It's hot as shit during the day. It's cold as shit during the night. And you got the Antarctic, which is the same thing, except it's just cold and then colder. And you still got no resources. And then you got the Everglades, where the resources will eat you. And that's not even factoring in if it's an apocalypse that can infect animals too. Because then you got infected mosquitoes everywhere.
That would
out
suck.
There.
That would suck.
You would get bit and turned, and you wouldn't even know it. And then don't even get me started on zombie alligators. These all suck. None of these are good.
Well, he's gonna pick the desert. What are you picking, Otis?
I mean, it's gonna have to be Florida for me. All of them are pretty bad, but I mean, I already live in the Arctic, so I don't want to stay in the cold as long as I have to, and so I'm definitely going to Florida to enjoy the weather.
Gonna enjoy the weather. Have you been down to the Everglades or near them?
I'm not. So
the humidity, you're not gonna be able to breathe properly with all the humidity during the summer. I don't know, man. Like, I made this poll thinking which would be the absolute worst places. You know how in Pokemon you have 3 starters? I was like, what if the starters were the absolute fucking worst? And you know what? If I personally had to choose, I'd agree with Clyde here. I'm gonna go to Sahara Desert. I've seen Les Stroud, Survivor Man, survive out in the desert. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll find an oasis that'll keep you alive for a month, maybe. But god damn, I don't want to live in the Everglades. And it's like you have, like he said, you have all these resources, and a lot of them are trying to eat you. I don't want to deal with that. And then Antarctica is, it's cold. I like the cold, but that's super cold. And on top of that, there's no resources in Antarctica. I don't even know how I'm gonna start a fire if I'm not at one of those scientific outposts that they have there for people who go to Antarctica to do science shit that I'm not qualified to talk about. Let me see what the comments have to say. Cleasy says he's gonna try to live in Antarctica because there'd be no population of zombies. Yeah, that's true. Your food would be seafood, which is kind of cool, but how are you gonna cook it? That's my concern. How do I start a fire in Antarctica?
Bro's trying to eat freezer sushi.
You could eat. You technically could eat fish raw, but I don't know, man. That would suck, dude. DeRosa says, as a Florida man, I'd have to say, yeah, those choices are booty. See, you understand though. You understand that the Everglades would suck. You understand you can't breathe in the summer? Okay, we're gonna move on to. Actually, you know, let me I want to see what the comments say, like on this poll here.
I would say.
Yep.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go. You go ahead.
I was just gonna add one last point. So with the Arctic, I wonder, like, you always see those videos, like, of people, like, drinking water out of the Arctic, and, like, you think it's purified or whatever, or, like, it's good to drink, and it's not, but it's always, like, that's also interesting to be, like, because there's so much water around you that, like, you know, you probably could get away without having to purify all of it.
Yeah, true. You could probably. I'm just worried about, you know, fire.
Yeah.
like it's gonna be cold as fuck over there.
Like, realistically, how do you stay warm? Like, how?
That is the big challenge. Unless you can, like, I don't know, like one tap a polar bear. Do they even have polar bears in the Antarctic? I'm not.
Yeah,
You could do a Luke
Yes.
Skywalker and survive inside one of them.
How are you gonna kill a polar bear?
Your
get a
bare hands, bro.
lightsaber.
Yeah, get a lightsaber. Yeah.
Well, a lightsaber, I guess. That solves your fire problem. That's your water problem, because you could just melt some of the more inland ice.
You could just stick it in the, like, fucking fish you catch, and you just cook it right there on the spot.
Just cook the fish. Yeah, why not? Sure. Just
All
get a
right.
lightsaber. It fixes all your problems.
I gotta see the comments here. The first comment, by the way, I am not dealing with Florida man zombies. I'm gonna heart react this one. Gators would deal with most of wandering zombies for you. Yeah, but what if the gators can get infected? You know, like,
Yeah.
assuming.
And then that's another thing too. If the gators are dealing with zombies, right? Well, now you can no longer eat that gator because its meat is tainted.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
just
true.
just assuming that it doesn't become a zombie gator, you still can't eat the gator. It's now tainted.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
run the risk of turning from eating the gator.
That's true. It's just like the Everglades is like probably. I mean, I can see why people would pick the Everglades, because there's so much food there. There's some water you could drink, right? You'd have to be a crazy motherfucker to run in as a survivor to set up your base in the Everglades, so you don't have to worry about competition. But, like, it's just like, I think, like, non-Floridians don't realize that the competition there is the food that you're trying to eat.
It's the literal environment. It's everything. Dude, I wouldn't want to go there now. And it's
Right.
it's not even an
Right.
apocalypse. And then you just up the difficulty in the Everglades. like I'm good, dude.
See, Brock could probably survive. He's a Canadian.
I don't know, man. I don't know. He's a mountain man. It's a totally different environment for him. He's
Otis got
never
this.
experienced it. Like, if you were to tell me, yeah, no, he can survive up on Everest, yeah, I wouldn't doubt you on that. He's got that. That's his territory up there. I'd die in 2 seconds on Everest.
Oh, Otis would come out here with his fucking pet Kodiak, and then he'd be ragdolling gators and shit. Oh my god. Yeah, mosquito spray won't do anything. You're right. See, he knows this. He's from Florida. These motherfuckers evolved. They could deal with mosquito spray. Let's see. I'm gonna read some comments real quick from the actual live chat. So Cleasy says he didn't fully think about all that too much. Well, that's what we're doing now. We're thinking through these horrible choices. Riven Forest, again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Even though this isn't an option, but I would personally live in a gym if the zombie apocalypse ever happens, because there are many ways to defend myself with the stuff in there. Yeah, but there's not a lot of food in a gym, right? Although, I guess nobody would go to a gym, so I guess there would be, like, very little competition. Like, would you guys go to a gym during a zombie apocalypse? To grab some weights, maybe? Like...
Dude, like, most of my exercises during a zombie apocalypse are probably going to be cardio, and I would not want to go beyond that.
I know, right?
Because, like, you have to think, like, of consuming resources in that kind of situation. It's like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to get cardio plus, like, a muscle workout because I'm beating zombies with weights. Like, you could find any blunt instrument, it would do the same thing. You're just getting a blunt instrument and putting weights on it yourself, just making it harder.
I mean, besides, if I want to get a workout, we could just bench press Otis, you know?
Dude, there's no way. Even if everyone on Earth shared their energy with us, we'd never be able to bench press Otis, dude.
Oh man,
the weight is too spread out. It's not gonna happen.
I mean, Otis
You're
could
gonna need like 4 people.
Otis could, like, run around with a barbell as his main weapon.
He could. One-handed.
Oh man, let me read a couple more.
He's gonna be like Vasily. He just slaps the zombies.
Vasily, we gotta. You know, at some point, we gotta do a live stream where we just watch those slapping competitions. It's like I really want to do that.
Determine if that would actually kill a zombie.
Cleasy over here saying you would live up north around Canada because at least there'd be wood for fire. Yeah, I mean, hey, look, like Canada's great. Like Canada would be a great spot. Let me read some more comments on this actual poll before we move on. Everglades isn't the worst choice, but if animals are infected by the virus too, then it would easily be the worst unless you run into a zombie polar bear. I agree. Absolutely. After seeing Day of the Dead, I'm not picking Florida. I haven't seen Day of the Dead in ages. I have to rewatch that for the channel.
There's so many days or dawns and stuff of the dead, dude.
By the way, guys,
I look them up all the time.
Guys in the comments, if you have any film media, again, I take recommendations. It'll take me a while to get to it, but I do recommendations certainly. Okay, so let's look at the next poll. This one would be easier, I think, for Otis to answer. But which character would you marry? Would you marry Alicia Clark from Fear the Walking Dead? Tess, I cannot pronounce her Greek last name from The Last of Us. Jill Valentine or Maggie Rhee?
Yeah, I think it has to be Maggie Rhee. I mean, I'm definitely the most familiar with her. She's definitely been on screen the most as well. And her character arc is really good in my opinion. So yeah, definitely Maggie. Going off looks alone too, I would say, not just character development.
All right, he's picking Maggie. What about you, Clyde?
Jill Valentine.
I see.
Easy
pick for you. Easy pick.
You don't understand. Like, if Jill Valentine is with me during a zombie apocalypse, I basically get just to role play a house husband because she's gonna take care of all the zombies. Like I ain't gotta do nothing. I just gotta have dinner ready.
You can have an apron and everything.
Like, just let her deal with it, dude.
Oh shit, yeah, Jill's got some strange, like, insane feats, dude. Like, I'd say off of looks alone, if I had to pick just off of looks, bro, I'm going for fucking Alicia, bro. I'm going for Alicia, bro. Like after season 4 wasn't too bad of Fear the Walking Dead, but every other season after that, only reason I was watching was like, I need Alicia on the screen, bro. Like, that's the only reason I was watching. But if I had to pick a wife overall, Jill is OP because of her feats, but if we made her more human, like we made her more realistic, I don't know if I'd pick Jill. I personally would pick Tess. I personally picked Tess because she's loyal, and let's be real, she was the brains behind Joel and fucking in The Last of Us. Like, she was the brains behind the operation. Like, I'm pretty sure half the bad shit that went down in The Last of Us would not have happened had Tess survived. Plus, you know, I kind of like myself a MILF, you know. Tess, believe it, I looked this up, by the way. Tess is like in her, like, she's like 51 in the game.
Holy cow.
She does not look it. I need to know what her skincare routine is. It must be applying some of that cordyceps on the as foundation or something.
Yeah. My counter argument on this is Jill solos everything from every one of these other zombie universes because she just lives in a harder version of it. Yeah.
That's why I said if we made her more human, we removed a lot of the feats.
No. You don't get to do that. You don't move that goalpost like that. You leave it where it is.
No. You're right. Like, objectively, the character, like, she'll just take care of it. Like, you can put your apron on and wait. Like you said, wait at home as the stay-at-home husband. She could be the breadwinner all day. Maggie's a good choice though, Clyde. Good looks, loyal. Smart until she couldn't stop obsessing over Negan. Like, I feel like they kind of ruined her arc a little bit there. But yeah, no, I don't fault anyone for picking Maggie. Although Alicia, oh man, I can't. I'm not even gonna look at the comments of this thing. There's 233 comments, bro. Let's see what the live chat's got to say here. I should do the boys. Yeah, I want to do some videos on the boys at some day. And I'm glad you like the channel, De Rosa. Dragon Ball, I saw you. You were in the last stream with me and Otis. Welcome back. Let's see here. Yep, he picks Maggie, Cleezy. Cleezy, you've only seen season 1 of Fear the Walking Dead. Look, Cleezy, the first 3 seasons are gold tier, especially the 3rd season. Really good stuff. And then they kind of dropped the ball because actors left and writers left. But yeah, let's go on to the next poll. Which Walking Dead group is the scariest to you guys? The Whisperers, the Saviors, the Claimers, or the Terminus Cannibals? You guys figure out who wants to go first.
I hate how open you made this question, because it's like, in what context is it? Like
in your context, just to you, just to
in
you.
My context?
Yeah, just in your context.
It's gonna be between like the Whisperers and the Cannibals, because it's like the Claimers and the Saviors. Like, yeah, you know, dying sucks, but you know what sucks worse is being eaten alive in a zombie apocalypse by people that aren't even zombies.
The Whisperers didn't eat people, though. The Whisperers didn't eat people, though.
Yeah, but the zombies with them did.
Thanks for the donation, Cleezy. But yeah, no. The Cannibals are fucking terrifying. Like, Terminus is one of... That's why it's so iconic, though. Terminus was such a good arc. What do you think, Otis?
I'm gonna have to agree with Clyde here. It's between Terminus and the Whisperers, mainly because, like, the Saviors are super intimidating, but they're at least willing to negotiate. And, you know, like with Rick's group, they were at least willing to let them work for them, sort of thing. Whereas, you know, with Terminus, you know, they didn't really have any options, and the Whisperers, you know, they've got their land, and you know, if you cross that, you know, they're going to take you out. So I think probably the Whisperers, just because how much influence they have, and probably like because they have control of the walkers, they've learned how to control them, yeah, it's just they've got strength in numbers, right? So
you remember when because I know it, I don't know if Clyde saw that full season, but I know you've seen it. Remember when Jesus was fighting a bunch of walkers, and then he did like this cool round kick or like a slash or something to a zombie, and it turned out to be a Whisper, and the motherfucker like Matrix dodged him. Like the first time seeing that, I was like, oh shit.
That was a really good way to kind of introduce them into the story, although it sucks that it had to be Jesus, because I thought his character was on the up and coming for sure.
And then they just got rid of him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh god, that sucks. But if ever me... Oh, by the way, hi, Theo. If you guys don't know Theo, we did a recent collab on my channel. Go check out his channel. If you like my stuff, you're going to love his, all right? The reason I chose to collab with him is because he's got quality content. So please check this guy out when you got the chance. Anyways, yeah, if I had to choose who I'd be the most terrified of, it would probably be... I think it would be the Saviors. Primarily because the Saviors at their prime, you kind of needed every community to get together to stop them, and if you can't achieve that, then you're just gonna be a slave. Like one of the alluring parts of the apocalypse for those who like to survive is that it's just like, whoa, I get to have a clean slate, right? It's a clean start. I don't want to go through the apocalypse just to end up in late-stage capitalistic feudalism all over again. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what I want to live again, bro. Like, the life's already hard enough with the world ending. The last thing I need to do is go back to working for somebody else. Like, just kill me. Just fucking eat me, all right? Like, put a bullet through my head. I don't want to deal with that shit. Oh, by the way, you're welcome, Theo. I'm looking forward to more collabs with you, brother. Yeah, no, I think everyone's got a good opinion on this, though. I didn't really want this to be an objective question, because although I think it's funny that only 3% call it the Claimers the scariest. I mean, they're just like what, like 10 guys just walking around randomly.
They were scary when they had Daryl for a moment there, I will say. I understand the 3%. You know?
That scene when they surrounded Rick and Michonne and Carl, that at middle of the night, that was kind of scary. That was man, Rick biting that guy's throat out. That is it's an iconic scene in the series. It's David mentioned in The Ones Who Live that Rick considers that the worst thing he's ever done to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Honestly, Morgan in clear mode solos the Flamers.
Oh, absolutely. Clear. Here's not here. I see red. All right, next poll. I did a video on this. It came out today, actually. Who was the better survivor overall, Rick Grimes or Shane Walsh? And we're talking about Rick prior to the Rick-tatorship in season 3, before he kills Shane. And you know, I'm glad to see that the majority of the poll understands that Officer Friendly was the best, but we've got 42% out of 8.6K respondents who think Shane was better.
So I think I can break down why people think that, and it's really more to do with early on. Shane could be seen as like equal to Rick early on, like when you first meet him in the first couple episodes. He seems on par with Rick. He seems like he's just as capable of a leader due to already having that group established there. His combat skills are on par with Rick. Rick trusts him completely to have his back. He's never looking over his shoulder because he knows what Shane's capable of. And I would argue up until the very end when Shane was losing his mind, though, that Shane did have better instincts than Rick, though. As far as the combat and leadership, I mean, Rick won the 1v1. I'd say they're either like on par or Rick just being a little bit better. Rick's very obviously a better leader. He's better at being able to make decisions that need to be made, even when he himself isn't very well held together. Shane, as soon as he started falling apart, everything about him started falling apart. But yeah, overall, it's Rick. I'd still argue, like I said, up until the end, though, Shane had overall better instincts than Rick, though.
Yeah, I think you got some good points there, Clyde. What about you, Otis? I know you saw my video already.
I definitely agree with Clyde. Like, in terms of instincts, you know, I feel like Shane understands the solution to the problem. He just can't live with it, so to speak. Whereas Rick adapts over time, sort of thing. He won't directly find the answer right away, but he knows how to find it and how to deal with it. So
I think what a lot of people, and I mentioned this in my video, a lot of people seem to overlook is that Rick was actually tactically insane. Like, the guy figured out the Walker Guts strategy. He was the first one out of the group who was just like, hey, let's start using our knives. We need to reserve ammunition and we need to be quiet. And then he added that extra layer of cutting his hand just with blood to attract the Walker to him silently. Like, I think, like, in a combat situation, like, yeah, Shane has all the right instincts, but he's not strong enough to live in the world, right? He knows what needs to be done, but he doesn't have the strength to do it. Rick is just amazing. Like and the crazy part is he's tactically better, even though he's technically newer to the game than Shane, because he just like woke up from a coma, saved the group from Atlanta, figured out the Walker Gut strategy, then led everyone from Atlanta to the CDC and then to the farm, right? And then he's figuring all this shit out at a much faster rate than Shane. So I just think it's I think Rick is definitely better overall, and I think the biggest thing that Shane had going for him is that he just had the right mentality, the right instinct, but like you guys said, he just didn't have the strength. Just fucking broke down over time. Although to be fair, Shane, if he had a support group like Rick, he probably would have not broken down. But then again, Rick's leadership skills, him being amicable and willing to risk his life for others, that's what built that support group up. And Shane was never really willing to do that, right? He was a little rough around the edges. So
yeah, that goes back to another point I wanted to make is like, yeah, when it came to at least fighting walkers, Shane was on par with Rick, but when it came to like tactics, Rick was definitely better. When it came to outsmarting a walker, Rick definitely was like ahead of the curve on that, because that was something Shane never really even thought of doing, because he doesn't see it as a thing that can be outsmarted. He sees it as mindless. But Rick definitely figured that out ahead of time, and Rick was always better at dealing with people in one way or the other, whether it be to bringing people to his side, convincing people of something, or just dealing with people in a way that was necessary. And Shane was just never good at that.
Absolutely. Let me just go ahead and respond to some of the comments here. I don't want to act like I'm ignoring you guys. Yeah, if Lori wasn't a factor, I think Rick and Shane would have been a deadly duo. I mean, absolutely. DeRosa was right there. Let's see what Dragon Ball Radiant said. It's like you said in your video, Shane adapted to the new world, but Rick was more willing to do the things that were necessary. It's not that he was willing to do it. I think it's that he had the strength to live with it. And Theo added to my video very eloquently that Rick not only could handle dealing with death, he could move beyond it. And I think that was a very good thing to point out. Like, he didn't just deal with it; he was able to move beyond it. Really, that was a real strong character. Theo in the comments is saying, in a way, he would have loved to see Shane live longer. And he totally gets why he was killed off for story aspects, but a murder jacket Shane would have been absolutely crazy. Yeah, that would have been crazy to see. It would have been crazy to see how Shane evolved over time. RJ is going to be overpowered like an anime character, and I'm down for it. Imagine if Shane and Otis used the Walker Guts trick. Yeah, they both would have walked out of there alive if they knew the trick. But what if Otis ate Shane? Otis, want to give me your opinion on what if Otis ate Shane? Oh shit!
I mean, what really is there to be said,
Oh my god!
I think they'd be living happy on the farm still if it was Otis over Shane. So I think they should have had a nice little rotisserie with Shane. Maybe
You think if Otis ate Shane, you think he'd be able to make it back to the farm, bro? He would have. That's a lot of weight to put on real quick, bro.
Yeah, he might have adopted the head scratch too, but who knows, right? So
imagine Otis rubbing his head, bro.
Telling people something.
Let me tell you something, Rick. Let me tell you something, Rick. God save the boy. Oh man, yo, Otis ran quick though. Like
he did.
That dude was outpacing Shane. The dude was fast on his feet. You think maybe he played football?
He was a redneck.
Yeah, maybe
he was a redneck, man. Just because he's big boy don't mean nothing.
You think he played football when he was younger, before he became a hunter?
He might have been, honestly. He could have been a football player. He's probably used to lifting hay bales all day and just being out on the ranch. So I think he's got a lot of inertia behind that body and can definitely pick up some speed pretty quickly when he gets moving.
Inertia. Oh shit, Reverend Forrest saying also, I'm not really good with grammar, so sorry if it's hard to read. You don't have to apologize, man. We ain't grammar police here. Dragon Ball Radiant, Rick hit the jackpot with Michonne. Yeah, she's pretty damn good in terms of wife material. Otis was looking at Shane like a snack. Oh shit. Otis is low-key an athlete. He had a sleeper build. This is why I love Theo, bro. I gotta get you on a live stream, Theo, man. Oh god. Oh, Radiant's asking me a question. I asked this in your video. Do you think it would have helped if Shane gave both bags to Otis and distracted the walkers away? Only if Otis was willing to let Shane die. And he made it very apparent that he wasn't willing to leave someone behind. So I think that's what really influenced Shane to ultimately shoot him in the leg in that specific moment in time. I think that I think it would have helped if Otis could just recognize, hey, this guy wants to be a hero. I'm just gonna let him be the hero. Like, that probably would have been the best in the long run for everyone else. But enough about this. I want to move on to the next poll question. I hope you guys in the comments are having fun. Where would you live during the zombie apocalypse, would you choose the city, the suburbs, farmland, or the wilderness? You guys take turns.
You want to go first this time, Otis?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I feel like all those answers are not bad in their own regard. I see farmland is definitely very, very popular. I mean, the farm wouldn't be bad at all, right? I'm just trying to think of all different kinds of resources and stuff. The city would be super populated. I definitely would not want to be in the city. The suburbs, I feel like, wouldn't be terrible. There would be a good amount of resources and definitely not as populated as the city. The wilderness, though, I mean, the wilderness would be pretty rough, you know, depending where you are in the wilderness. I mean, I don't know. But I think farmland probably is like, I mean, it got 72%, right? So I think farmland makes the most sense, and probably would be what I would go with. But then again, you know, do you know how to farm crops, and you know, what's your resource situation looking like too? So.
All right. And what say you, Clyde?
All right, so mine's between farmland and wilderness, and I'm on the fence about farmland mainly because where is the farmland located? Is it far removed from like other civilization? Are we talking about like some European level farmland that's in the middle of bumfuck nowhere? Like, if that's the case, then yeah, farmland's great. It would be relatively easy to clear out. There wouldn't be too many houses, so that means there wouldn't be too many zombies, if any, if it had even reached there. But overall, like, what's the sustainability like? Because wilderness overall is looking a lot better. You have way more resources already there for you. You don't have to plant. That's assuming, like, again, in farmland, if you even have seeds to plant crops. Do you know how to farm and harvest crops? Do you have a reliable water source? I see there's one in the picture, but that doesn't necessarily apply to every single farmland. Wilderness, there's always something because there's life everywhere, which means there's water somewhere there. So you got plenty of things to hunt. You got plenty of resources to even build a small shelter, multiple small shelters if you need to. And the chance of running into anyone or anything out there are even slimmer than the farmland.
Okay, I think those are good answers. Theo was asking if the zombies are like the Walking Dead zombies in these questions, and honestly, I don't care. Like, these questions are just put forth, you know.
I feel like generally that's like what we go for, unless we want to make it some kind of like harder challenge. In which case, we probably specify that. But you know, generally most of the questions are like Walking Dead related, so we kind of
like zomboid zombies.
Yeah, we kind of just base the question off of that. Like I said, the only time we really branch out to that is like with the Everglades thing, where I mentioned like, oh, does the virus infect animals? That's something that I brought attention to just to ask that question.
I mean, it's a legitimate concern. Like,
yeah.
Speaking of animals, the wilderness, it depends. Like you said, it depends where the farmland is. It also depends what kind of wilderness we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the wilderness in that area like? You know, do I really want to deal with infected bears or gators coming after me, right?
Well, again, that's the thing that I go back to is like, if it's the wilderness, like when I say the wilderness and I see how far down this is in the tier list, the idea I get is it's wilderness that's far removed from civilization, which means the chances of anything being there that's infected, even if you factor in animals, is very low, if at all.
Yeah, if it's far off, because I never specify. These are just generic. I mean, it also depends on what city we're talking about. Depends on what suburbs we're talking about. It just, you never know, right?
Well, I don't know. I feel like any city or suburbs are just in a zombie apocalypse are just never going to be good. Like suburbs, because you have so many houses that are all near each other, so there's a lot of population still, even in the suburbs, and suburbs still often connect to other suburbs that are like next to them, and it's not like zombies just stay still all the time.
I definitely would, if I had to choose personally, I would go with the wilderness, just because a lot of people would be going to farmland, and I don't want to deal with competition. But I can also see why some people would choose the city, because if you have the resources to make it work, at some point the infected would move out of the cities because that happens in just about every zombie movie we see. The infected follow where the survivors are going. They eventually vacate the cities and go other places to find where the food is. But definitely not where you want to be day one if you're not ready. Like, the city only works if you have the right supplies and if you're already ready for it. And the suburbs, they could work depending on the size of the suburbs and where you're at, because you could always make a gated community of some sort. But farmland, that's a safe pick, but you gotta recognize everyone and their fucking mother's gonna go to the farmland at some point. Like, almost everyone and their mother's gonna be looking for refuge out there. Whereas in the wilderness, it's gonna be a lot harder for people to survive in the wilderness, so even if they do go out into the wilderness, if you know what you're doing, odds are everyone who goes into the wilderness with you, these other groups will eventually die out and you just, you know, scavenge their supplies or some shit. So I personally prefer the wilderness. By the way, thank you, Augustin, for $50 in Argentinian currency. He's asking me a question. How much time can Shane survive fighting against Magora? Is that a JJJ
Mahoraga.
Yeah, the Jujutsu Kaisen?
I have not watched Jujutsu Kaisen.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, Shane's just a normal person. I don't know much about that character, but he's gonna get fucking bodied. Like,
we're talking about composite Negan.
Don't even get me started on that. Dragon Ball Radiant says, I like what Bill does in The Last of Us. Personally, I would invite people in, but I like what he does. Yeah, Bill had a whole town to himself. Bill had a whole, like, in the game, not like, well, even in the show he had his own town, but like, yeah, he had a whole town with booby traps and stuff. Theo says, yeah, imagine being in the African savannah hunted by infected lions and leopards. That would fucking suck. That would absolutely suck.
They never get tired.
Yeah, and they're faster than you. That's terrifying, man. The Quiet Place is a good example of why you don't want to be in the city at the start. Probably the best example. I've got there's some other examples that are just as good, like World War Z. Again, it depends though, because like if you have the resources and if you're set up just nice, the city could be a really good place. Like if you've got a good setup in a skyscraper, if you know parkour like a certain hero, Kyle Crane, and if you could just weather the first 2 to 3 months somewhere safe, like when the city empties and like the undead or the infected go outwards, dispersing, that's a lot of loot, a lot of supplies that you could work with. Like it's just supermarkets just teeming with non-perishable food, leftover medicine. If you're in the United States, that's a lot of fucking guns you're gonna be finding. Like the city's the greatest high risk, high reward option on the list, as far as I'm concerned.
Every time you say city, I just think of Louisville.
Louisville Sprinters. Oh my god. Oh yeah, Theo's right though. Fear the Walking Dead, they literally napalmed LA with Operation Cobalt. So yeah, you have to kind of survive the military's response if they decide to go like, you know, scorched earth on cities. Like you'd have to survive that.
That's like the main problem, right? Is like looking at it realistically. Like they never really do it that often in like movies and shows and stuff, but like just say an outbreak happened in a major city. Let's just use New York as an example. Highly populated major city, outbreak starts there, right? Well, what do you do to contain it? Well, you probably blow it up as fast as possible. That is the fastest way to possibly contain it. Just blow the city up, and then have the military perform sweep and clear operations afterwards. If there's survivors, yay, but also at the same time, bad, because if a person can survive it, then, you know, a zombie definitely could, because they can live just being a literal torso.
Yeah, that would it really would depend on the government's response. Because if the government wants to contain it rapidly, then you're probably gonna get bombed to fucking smithereens. But if the government's interested in saving lives and they're kind of like just under the mindset that, hey, We're not going to be able to stop this right away. Let's just save as many people as we can. Let's get as much human capital. Let's reorganize somewhere safe, and then we can try to recapture the rest of the mainland. Then you might have a good chance of surviving. It really just depends on what the administration is planning. Augustin, once again, $50 in Argentinian currency. Would you participate in the casting for Clementine in a hypothetical Walking Dead Telltale TV series? You nailed the character, dude. Are they doing that? Because I would love to be in a zombie series of some type. Like, if they're doing that, sure, I'll fucking do it. I want to be if I could just be an extra, like if I could just be a walker or a sprinting zombie, that I'd be fine with that too. Like, I know Clyde would be down for that, right? Like, we'd be down to just be dumb zombies in a movie. That'd be great.
Dude, that's I literally roleplay that every single morning getting out of bed.
Hell yeah. We come out of bed looking like Sean.
I probably would do the whole Sean walkthrough too and not notice anything.
Oh my god. Yo, guys, if you haven't yet, please remember to like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification icon because, you know, that helps out the channel. Also, please consider becoming a channel member. If we get enough members, we could definitely do more live streams like this, and we could make member exclusive movie nights as well, which I would love to do at some point. Anyways, let me read some comments real quick, guys. Beans89 says that they'll most likely die trying to survive in the farmland, maybe because they don't know how to farm and they have no hunting skills. I'm with you on that. I can't farm for shit and I can't hunt, but I can tell you what, I have friends who could teach me, and I am a very quick learner.
I'm not teaching you.
You better. If not, I got Otis over here. Otis will help me. He's Canadian, all right? Otis will come bring his pet Kodiak down here to Florida. We got Cleasy asking Governor versus Negan who would win. I'll save that for a video. I'll save that for a video.
I can fix it right now. Are we talking about composite Negan?
We're not bringing in composite Negan, bro. For those of you wondering what that means. Composite Negan is taking every form of Negan in fiction possible, and that includes Negan in Tekken. The same Negan that knocked out, like, what, freaking Kazuya? Like, who tanked a building explosion?
Composite Negan, easy win.
Oh my god. Let's see. Bean says they wouldn't want a TV adaptation of the Telltale games. You're gonna have to elaborate on why. I actually haven't played the Telltale games. Have you, Otis? Or have you seen any clips of it?
I watched it back in the day, like years ago. Like, I want to say probably 8 to 10 years ago, and I really liked the Telltale series. I will say, I don't know where it is now. I haven't been keeping up with it, but the first couple seasons I watched playthroughs and stuff like that, and I really liked it at first. So, yeah, I would say it's definitely worth having a look at, if you like that sort of stuff. So, definitely give it a look.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to. I've had some people ask me to do Telltale content, and I'm like, I would, but I have to like watch it, because I have no experience with it. I should play it. Cleese says I should play it during live streams. I would do that, but my internet here is kind of crap, and the quality wouldn't be very good. Because I tried that with Dying Light.
You could just do Let's Play videos of it.
I could, but it's just the editing takes so much time compared to the videos I usually do. I mean, I'll do that if there's enough demand for it, though. Once again, thanks for another $50 in Argentinian currency. Augustin, the Whisperers are right, biologically speaking. The Commonwealth will fall because they are weak. They are repeating the cycle. Whisperers break it, and the Whisperers also lose to a simple flashbang. I know Augustin disagrees with me on this. It's a friendly disagreement. He's a fan of the Whisperers. All right, let's move on to the next question poll. Oh, by the way, this is what I was talking about. If you guys want to leave recommendations, go to the community tab. I have a post here that says literally, I want to hear from you. Leave your recommendations. All right, here's a fun one. Which would you rather live in during the zombie apocalypse? On a wooden raft or a metal dumpster in a random city?
This is why you asked me that stupid question yesterday. No, neither of these are good. Like, what do you want me to do with this?
Well, I'll let you think on it, Otis. You give me your answer.
I mean, both of them. I don't know. Like it all depends, right? Like if the dumpster is big enough to be habitable, then maybe the dumpster isn't such a bad idea. But and with regards to like zombie animals and stuff, like the raft, I feel like you'd be okay depending on where you are from. Zombies and whatnot. But then if there's zombie sharks, then you're really up shit creek, right? So there's a lot of things that play into factor. But I mean, honestly, probably the dumpster. I think I choose land over water. So yeah, it's gonna be the dumpster for me.
I like you mentioned down shit creek. Gotta get the Abraham quote in there where we are neck deep in shit creek with our mouths wide open.
All right. Regarding the raft, do I have a paddle?
No, it's just a raft.
and I'm going down a river.
It's a random river. You don't know where it goes.
Do I ever get beached?
You don't know. You're picking the raft, and whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens. Nothing sounds good with either of these. You're literally like, oh, do you just want to sit on top of a rock in the middle of death, or do you want to float on top of a log around death? How deep's the river?
Again, we don't know. It's a random river.
Does the raft leave me if I go swim?
It could if you don't secure it.
Is there food in the dumpster?
It's a dumpster.
What do you mean, maybe? I might as well just flip a coin for this. I have nothing to go on.
You gotta pick.
Why? You know what? I'm gonna go with the dumpster. I'm gonna go with the dumpster because maybe I'll find a gun in there to shoot myself with for having to answer this stupid question.
Oh my god. It is a tough concept. Like I'm gonna go with Captain Morgan's response. He says the dumpster because one man's trash is another man's treasure. I'm gonna go with Captain Morgan on this one. That's a goated comment.
You are absolutely biased towards that comment just because he has captain in the name.
Yes, he's a fellow captain. Oh my god. Yeah, look, I don't know what I would choose. I don't know what I would choose, man. Just a raft by itself kind of sucks. It's wood. The wood might rot. There might be some leaks. The metal dumpster. I mean, hey, you're right. You could find a gun in the dumpster. You never know, especially in the United States. Let's see. Revan Forrest says he would pick the dumpster because even though it may take a while to clear it out, it could provide good shelter. And with some stolen air fresheners would be a great home.
I mean, yeah, sure. They have thalassophobia, but it's like they didn't specify what body of water. You could be in a river that's 2 feet deep. You could see the bottom. Like, where's it at? Where's the dumpster? The dumpster could be on the roof of a building.
If it was 2 feet water, the infected could just walk up to you while you're on the raft.
That's why I hate the raft. It's like, do I have a paddle? Can I make it go faster? Can I steer it? Can I go anywhere? You give me nothing to go on.
You're gonna have to get your own paddle. You're gonna have to find a big fucking stick.
I'm gonna use you as a paddle. How about that?
Please don't. If you're gonna use me as a paddle, make sure it's my feet being the part that goes in the water, not my face. I kind of want to be able to breathe.
I want to have you do like Ed from Ed, Edd and Eddy. You just stick your mouth in the water and breathe really fast.
That show's goated. Oh my god. Okay, let's move beyond this. Let's move beyond this question.
This question's garbage.
Let's move on. Okay, we got another fun one. Which World War II leader would you want in your zombie apocalypse group? Joseph Stalin, Franklin Big D Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, or Adolf Hitler?
Why is Adolf Hitler winning?
I don't know.
Why is he winning?
I'm gonna... Otis, you give me your answer. I feel like Clyde's gonna go on a tangent on this one.
I mean, honestly, like this is a really tough choice here. All of them are appealing in their own ways, right? I mean, I think it has to be Adolf, though, right? Just because there's nothing wrong with looking good in a zombie apocalypse. Everyone's covered in blood, and you got shiny boots and stuff. You're gonna stand out, right? Everyone's gonna know what's up with you. You're gonna look badass. So it's gonna have to be Adolf.
The Drippler.
And also, he's a really good artist, right? There's not a lot of those around anymore, so.
I got a question for you. You speak German?
I don't.
We do not.
9.
Oh my god.
So you're gonna have this German dude. Let's just throw out the fact that he's literally Hitler. You're gonna have this German dude in your zombie apocalypse group. Nobody can understand him. They just know that he's ranting about something. And you're gonna have this dude in your group.
I can't. I'm sorry, I can't.
Like,
He's gonna be my leader.
he's gonna be a leader?
Yeah, that's the question. Isn't it?
No. It's which World War. No. They don't have to be the group leader. They're a World War II leader. They could be in your group. They don't have to be the leader of the group.
Let
Oh,
me
I
point out
see, okay.
the next one, the next second highest one too, right? That everyone picked, Winston Churchill. And I don't know if anyone remembers, like half the time you couldn't even understand what this man was saying, and he's speaking English.
I can't.
At least with Hitler, I can get that he's mad about something. I have no idea what Winston's saying.
I can't get out of my head the image of this man. You're just sitting in camp at your fireplace, and this motherfucker just out here talking bullshit in German. Just giving a stump speech. These guys are just trying to keep things quiet, and he's over here being loud as fuck, holding his book up.
You're just sitting there, you hear it out in the corner, Kaiserschlag! You're like, what is he on about today?
I can't. This is fucking killing me. You should not have painted that image in my head. Like, I just keep thinking of a fireplace. We're just sitting there trying to survive. This motherfucker's just speaking German, talking about his struggle, Mein Kampf. Like,
He's over there reading a book no one else could even read.
I can't.
And like Winston, right? He's like the old grandpa that's like gonna try to give you advice, but when he talks, you have no idea what he's saying, so you just nod your head. And you're like, okay.
Hey, look, at least he's packing some cigars, bro. Like,
At least he's packing the cigars, right? Like, I'm glad at least everyone realizes that Joseph would be the worst one because he'd be the first one to sacrifice literally everyone in the group. Like, leader or not, he's finding a way to do it. And like, I'm honestly kind of sad that my boy Big D Roosevelt is in third place.
Frank, yeah.
Like, out of everyone here, he's the only one you'd actually even understand when he speaks.
yeah, Joseph would be out here being like, "Black beat." Like, Clyde, you gotta do the freaking Call of Duty Modern Warfare bullshit.
Oh no!
You have to do it for everyone watching this crap.
You're just in the middle of fighting. Just in the middle of fighting zombies with Joseph balling. You hear him over in the corner. Begonia, better to get ya! You're like, what is he saying?
That fucking kills me every time. Oh my god.
I'm going with Roosevelt, man. Go to the next one. I don't want no more of this.
I'm gonna agree that if I had to choose, it'd probably be. I personally would be with either Roosevelt because he'd be a great leader, or Joseph Stalin because I don't know. I feel like Joseph Stalin probably the best soldier out of all of them. Like, that's probably it. But you're right. I didn't even think about it. This guy be the first one to try to seize power and sacrifice everybody. Oh my god. Oh shit. Next poll question. Which president would you want in your zombie apocalypse group? And keep this in mind. The presidents listed are at the age range that they were at when they were president, not currently. So when they were president, that's what we're considering. So you've got Joe Biden, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, or Donald J. Trump. You guys decide.
So this is basically American politics on this one. Do you want me to go first?
Sure. Whichever one of you wants to opine first.
Actually, you know what? Otis's will be a lot shorter. You go first.
So where I'm from, we have prime ministers, so it's a little different here. But,
prime.
I mean, exactly. I mean, looking at all those pictures, I mean, they're all fantastic options, right? You know, poor Joe is getting beat down here at 2%, though. But I mean, it's gonna have to be Trump for me, though, because he's gonna build a wall, right? And we can use those. So.
We could use those. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, good night, Theo. By the way, Theo's going to bed. He's in the UK, by the way, so he's you were up
5
late.
Hours ahead of us.
You're up late, bro.
It's just
Rupert for staying up for
him.
this. Yeah.
I'll see you later, Theo. Yeah, no, Donald's going to build a wall. Here's the question, though: do you think he could actually contribute to building it if he's part of your group? Like, you think he's actually going to?
Definitely not.
I don't think anyone on the list would.
All right, Clyde. You give us your answer.
All right, so it's between W and Barack. All right,
I agree.
I got him for two separate reasons. Like, off the top, both of them would already be great leaders. Like, they would make great leaders for the group, right? W probably be a little bit more better in a firefight because he was a soldier. He was in the military. He was trained use of weapon. Barack Obama would overall be a little bit better of a leader. He'd be probably a little bit better at organizing things. I can tell you, though, W probably have the swiftest response. So, like, it's really like a toss-up between them. Like, what do we need? Do we need a person who's a better, like, leader in a broader range of things, or just a better overall group leader? Like, do we have everything mostly down pat? We need someone to organize everything. And they're charismatic. Everyone, likes them, goes to them for everything, which in that case would be Obama. A broader leader, in my opinion, is W. Overall, just better group leader is Obama. So it's really a toss-up on that. If we get Obama, I feel like Joe comes with it too. He doesn't really do much but stand there and he fall asleep.
You see, this as somebody who was heavily involved politically, and I will not get political with this channel. I know
political.
I know. I'm just saying that as a disclaimer. Just saying that as a disclaimer. I know a lot about every single one of these guys, and if I agree with you, the toss-up would be Bush and Obama. Obama's just, especially when he was president, he was like in his early to mid 40s. So he easily be the one in the best shape. The guy played basketball, all right? And there was a picture of him one time in his first term when he was at the beach. Dude had pecs. Dude had fucking muscle definition. So he's in shape. So that's good. And he's a great leader. He's charismatic. Can rally people to do stuff. Bush, on the other hand, people really don't realize how in shape he was, even though he was a bit older than Barack. The guy did a lot of cycling. Like, he did so much cycling that he asked Congress or the White House budgetary office to approve a specific bicycle for him that had presidential seals on it and everything because he loved to go cycling. The guy's actually in really good shape. He was in the Air National Guard. I mean, yeah, who cares? He got kicked out because of drinking-related issues. No one cares. Point being, he could shoot a gun because if you're in the Air National Guard, you still got to learn how to shoot a gun. He could fly a plane, technically, if you ever come across one. And he'd just be really funny. I mean, Obama's also funny as well, but, like, Bush is funny in a different way,
Watch his drive.
Now watch his drive. But Bush out here with his bushes and, like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, well, you ain't gonna fool me again. I freaking love Bush. He's so funny with those Bushisms. So it would definitely be a pick between Bush and Barack. Now, Biden and Trump? Because I know Otis out here memeing with his answer. Fucking, if I had to choose, like, if you're picking Biden or Trump, you're basically picking which is the best to sacrifice. And I would pick Trump to sacrifice because he's just got a hell of a lot more mass on him. Like he's a fat fuck. Like, have you guys seen him on the golf cart? Like this dude is big. Like you gotta give him the Otis treatment. He'd be feeding the walkers for quite some time. Like, let's be real here. But Donald, I don't know why so many people voted for him, because at the same time, if you don't sacrifice him, he's the first one to he's gonna betray everybody. He's gonna be the least likely to survive in a situation, and he's gonna shoot you in the leg. Like what? Why would you want to pick that? At least with Joe, he's not gonna know where he's at. Like he can't sacrifice if he doesn't know where he's at.
Reading the comment, dude, Bernie Sanders would be the goat.
I gotta love that one. Oh my god, yeah. If I had to pick, though, I agree with you. It's either W or Barack. I think that's easy pick, especially when you realize what you're dealing with. I don't know who I would pick personally. I guess you're right. Depends on the situation, but those two are definitely it. Although if I wanted to have a good time, just for shits and giggles, I'm picking Bush. I'm picking Bush. He's just funny.
Absolutely.
He's fucking hilarious. Unintentionally. That's the best part. I saw you mention he had good reflexes. I don't know if you guys remember this. This man dodged somebody throwing a shoe at him at a press conference in Iraq, and the dude had like insane reactions, like feet, like. I guess you could call that a suicide bomber.
Certified part of the Weave Nation, man.
Weave. Weave. Hello, Brian. Thanks for being part of the stream. Oh my god. Let's see here. Sandra Gibora? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I'm sorry if I butchered it. Saying congratulations on 10,000 subs. Well deserved. Thank you. And you're in the Netherlands? Wow. That's insane. I want to visit the Netherlands one day. Yeah, you have a good night though. Thanks for stopping by. And you're right, DeRosa. Bush do got them spidey senses. He knows how to dodge them suicide bombers.
Not just say suicide.
All right, next question. Who would win overall in a combat situation? Shane Walsh or Daryl Dixon? I'm gonna let Otis opine on this first.
Shane Walsh or Daryl Dixon, hey?
Yeah. Who would win overall in a combat situation?
I mean, honestly, there's a lot of factors at play here. I think early on, I feel like Shane, I mean, obviously, right, because, Shane doesn't make it that far down the line, but, I mean, in terms of, like, yeah, when they're both present, when they are both around each other for the first time, I would actually give, I think, it to Shane, because I think he's pretty tactical. Daryl's a good survivor, but he's not necessarily, the best at combat, whereas Shane is trained in that field, being a police officer and whatnot, right? So I think I'm going to give this to Shane. In terms of a combat situation, yeah, absolutely. So
what if we're talking about late stage Daryl?
Late stage Daryl, I'm gonna give it to Daryl then, absolutely. Like at that point, he's seasoned, taking out people, walkers, groups of people with RPGs and all kinds of stuff, right? So yeah, definitely gonna have to be Daryl later on, but those first couple scenes we see Shane kind of put him in that chokehold sort of thing and all that going on. I definitely think Shane is more savvy when it comes to combat at that point in the story, right? So
I think that's a fair take. What do you think, Clyde?
I am super biased. I'm gonna say Daryl.
Even early on?
All right. So he mentioned how, like, he said Shane put him in that chokehold, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I remember correctly, because it's been a minute since I watched it, if I remember correctly, like that kind of happened. Like there wasn't actually like a literal like full on fight that happened. It was just bro got rowdy and Shane just immediately went for the hold. Right? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, he tackled him while he was getting getting aggressive with Rick. He got blindsided by Shane.
Yeah, so he wasn't really fighting Shane. And like up to that point too, we hadn't really gotten to see what Daryl can do. Cause like, I mean, the way the show's progressing, they were giving Shane as much screen time as possible because they knew, you know, the writers knew he's gonna die off early, right? So you got to get the most out of the character. They knew Daryl was gonna be there for the long run. I feel like it's fair to say up to that point we hadn't really gotten to see what Daryl could do. So I'm gonna give it to Daryl just because like throughout the whole series we you know that's progressed. We actually did get to see that. I feel like Daryl just overall has better instincts in combat. He's more adaptable than Shane is. I want to say like on par with, let's just say, using guns or whatever. They're the same. Just that Daryl just has better instincts in a combat situation, and he's more adaptable than Shane is.
I feel like for me, if we're talking about early on, I feel like it depends on where they're fighting. I feel like if it's out in the middle of the woods, Daryl fucking predators Shane, basically. But like, if they're fighting in like, you know, close quarters or a town with their standard gear, Shane's gonna body him because he's carrying a fucking Mossberg on him 24/7. So I think it really depends, like what we're dealing with here, like where they're fighting. But at the end of the series, end of the series, Daryl fought Beta, bro.
Yeah.
Beta was basically the Ashroff of The Walking Dead, bro. Like,
oh my god,
dude's huge. I think it really depends on where they're at, though. Let's see here. I'm gonna read some comments. Captain Morgan says Daryl the GOAT, bruh. Brian says Daryl is overrated. I don't know if Clyde's gonna like that opinion.
I mean, the whole freaking show's overrated, so.
We ain't gonna say that about our show. We ain't gonna say that about our show. Those early seasons were not overrated. Plot armor. I mean, everyone's got plot armor technically. When you think about it.
I don't think anyone has more plot armor than Daryl, dude.
Of course, not as much as Daryl's.
like, if Glenn had survived, I would have said it was him. But bro burned through it all.
Especially after that fake out death.
like immediately Daryl proved his plot armor was stronger when he was the one that lashed out at Negan and didn't even die for it.
Yeah, then he took him home with him, tried to adopt him.
And he fed him spaghetti.
Yeah, he's fed him spaghetti. Let him listen to his favorite track. We're on Easy Street. We got Makura saying, "Hey, what's up? Just saw you that you're streaming. How you doing? I'm doing fan-fucking-tastic right now." A Cobra Gefuma, a snake that smokes. I feel like Daryl would lose to Shane in season 2, but later seasons 11, Daryl is the GOAT. Yeah, that's basically I think what we all agree on. Although I think it depends on the situation in early seasons. Beans, if Glenn had never gotten killed by Negan, not vegan, I'm just teasing you. Do you think he would have survived? Yeah, I think he would, right?
Yeah, I'd say like Glenn had gotten out of some like ridiculously stacked odds against him, like literally being tied to a chair and put alone in a room with a walker. Like,
yeah,
I mean, it doesn't really get much more stacked against you than that.
Yeah, and he made it out. Glenn, I'm sorry, I cannot unhear Mark Grayson. I cannot unhear like when I'd be rewatching The Walking Dead to do content on this channel. Every time I hear Glenn talk, I just hear Invincible. Like I just I can't.
I like Giuseppe's answer here. Y'all forgetting how Shane sneaked up on Lori like that.
You're right. Yeah, Shane got high stealth stat.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, Lori ain't got the awareness of Daryl. You know, she's not exactly the brightest bulb in the shed.
That's
I mean,
true.
She
Daryl's a hunter
olive
and a
oil.
tracker.
yeah, olive oil.
Olive oil.
Olive oil was driving down a road that was empty and still managed to hit a walker and total a car, bro.
And flip it.
Yeah, and flip it. Oh my god. Oh shit. Why is Dead City in the future makes those? I don't know. Ask the writers, man. Let's see here. Let's final poll for the day. I think. Which city is the worst place, in your opinion, to be during the start of a zombie apocalypse? Tokyo, Japan, Calcutta, India, London, UK, or New York City, the United States?
So I can only get my perspective on two of these, being Tokyo and New York. I feel like those are close to being on par with each other. I might give the edge to Tokyo in that one, just because if you've never been there, the Japanese are a very, very compact people. They live literally on the equivalent of an island. Like it's roughly the size of the East Coast of the entire United States, just slightly smaller than the whole East Coast of the US.
That's the length. Do you know how deep that would be in terms of the United States?
But what I'm trying to get at here is every city is stacked. And I'm talking about stacked and layered. People, they live very, very compactly there. Like, they oftentimes don't even have parking lots for places for cars. They have parking garages, or these type of robotic garages where you pull your car into it, you get out, and then it moves your car up to a level all on its own. There's no human interaction involved in it, and that's to, again, conserve space. So, like, people will have entire businesses on a ground floor, and then right above that they live there, and then they have 5 other neighbors that live multiple stories up above that. Like, they're just, it's nothing like the US. US has like districts of like, okay, well, there's all shopping over here, there's a suburb over here where people live. Everything is all together in Japan. So like, you got a lot of people living in a very tight space. And like, Tokyo is pretty small. Like, if you're just going on like the city, not the province, like just the city in comparison to like New York, there's a lot of people compared to that size as versus New York.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because if you look at Tokyo as a metropolitan area, it's the most populated and densely populated. But if you look at population just by city and population density, the worst option is actually Calcutta in terms of population density and population. But the Tokyo metropolitan area, like those extra provinces or whatever they call it over there, they're literally right next to each other. Like, it might as well be just one giant city.
Yep.
Like that just absolutely sucks. What say you, Otis?
I mean, I'm gonna have to agree. It's between Japan and India for me. For some reason, I was thinking, what would the best place be for the longest time? And so I was looking at London, UK, and I love the pictures you have there. It illustrates it perfectly. Like, seeing Big Ben there, like, you could attract all the zombies around that, and then, you know, like, have zip lines set up and that sort of thing to go to and from. Like, I'm glad that people understand how useful that could be in a survival situation, being, you know, in the city and whatnot. But yeah, in terms of worst places, yeah, I'm gonna agree with Clyde there.
Yeah, I think that's a good, like, but it's interesting you mentioned that, like, flipping the question from worst to best. Would you think, Clyde, do you think London would be the best choice, or would you pick another option?
Well, honestly, I'm just gonna have to go on what he's saying, because I don't know anything about London. The one time I was supposed to go there, that trip got canceled, and I don't have any plans to go to India, and I don't know much about it, so I can't really comment on that one. I know they're very densely populated, so if we're going just based on like the best place, then I feel like London's a bit more spread out than the rest of these.
I would choose, me personally, I would choose New York, because there's a bunch of tiny islands around New York that you could secure just by breaking a bridge or taking a ferry. If you can get past the hordes. There's plenty of boats and ferries around. All you have to do is just commandeer one.
What if you run out of gas?
It's not a long swim. That's the beautiful thing. It's not a long swim, and the Hudson's not a violent river either. So, I mean, it'd be pretty cool until winter comes and if the the river freezes, well, you're fucked. Terry says hi. He's a huge fan. Thank you, Terry. There was a question asked by Riven Forest. I need to scroll up because there it is. This question is for all of you. Which Walker variant would you 1,000,000% not want to cross paths with? And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's the one from the Daryl Dixon show, the sprinting Walker. I would not want to.
No, I don't want to deal with sprinters.
Yeah, like, we don't want to deal with sprinters.
They never get tired.
They never get tired, and they're faster than you. Like, and this is a Walking Dead sprinter. This ain't an infected like 28 days later, right? So you can't just let it starve. You can't shoot it in the chest and be like, oh well, he's gonna bleed out. No, you got to get that headshot, bro. Like, I'm not dealing with that, dude.
You know what's one that a lot of people never mention that's technically a sprinter? You guys remember the movie Warm Bodies? I actually never saw Warm Bodies. It's such a good movie. Yep. It's a really good zombie movie. You should watch it. But they have these things, and they call them bonies. And basically, they're zombies whose decayed flesh is peeled off, and they're basically like a black skeleton with just a little bit of meat left in them, the like muscle tissue that keeps them moving. But the thing about them is they're fast. They're very fast. They're very aggressive, like hyper aggressive. They can climb like a spider almost on just about anything. And that thing, that they're terrifying, dude. Like, that's like the one that like I always think about if like I ever had to consider something worse than a sprinter, is like a sprinter that is like even more aggressive and can climb almost like a spider on anything, man.
That sucks.
I would have to agree on that. Like, the sunken eyes is what does it for me. It's super creepy, like not seeing any eyes or anything.
I
like,
need to see this shit.
You don't know where they're looking or if they see you or not, right? So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to agree with that. The bonies are terrifying indeed. Definitely a movie worth watching.
We're gonna have to watch it together then. Like I haven't seen this and it sounds interesting already. I'll tell you what's an OP zombie though that I would not want to deal with. It would be the vampiric zombies from I Am Legend.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point.
I don't want to deal with that. That and the Flood from Halo.
The flood's the end all be all, dude. That's
the final boss.
Oh, you walked outside and breathed. Now you're infected. Have fun.
That's the final boss, man. Definitely don't want to deal with the Flood. Definitely don't want to deal with vampiric sprinters like with superhuman strength that could climb walls. And I'm good. I'm good. Don't want to deal with volatiles from Dying Light. You know, don't want to deal with that either. And definitely don't want to deal with those ant piling, sprinting super zombies from World War Z. Don't want to deal with that either. Do not want to do like the Rage Infected for 28 weeks later and 28 days. Like that's easy mode compared to all that other shit, dude. Like, let's see. We got some more comments here. Certified Bro Moment or Bruh Moment has a question. What would be the best form of transport in a zombie apocalypse in our humble opinions? I'm gonna let Otis tackle this one, or if you want, you could pass on to Clyde as you think.
Best means of transportation?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there's a lot of good options. I feel like there's not one right answer because it depends on, you know, where you are geographically. Like for me, for example, a skidoo would be probably the best thing. But I mean, there's a lot of right answers, right? Like if resources aren't in question, I feel like a helicopter you could never go wrong with, right? Like I feel like that just, I don't know, is like the best, you know, in terms of transportation. But obviously it's loud, right? And you know, you have to park it and whatnot. Whereas, you know, if you look at, you know, the other side of the coin, like having a bicycle, well, it doesn't consume any resources, right? But then also you're limited to where you can go with it. So, I mean, honestly, I'm just going to say helicopter, assuming, I mean, obviously resources play a huge factor. But I mean, when we look at, you know, the ones who live with the CRM, they've got helicopters and all kinds of stuff, and they're clearly dispatching a lot of zombies and humans pretty quickly. So
You know what?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go helicopter.
You said helicopter, and you're the prick in Zomboid during the helicopter event. you're the prick flying that motherfucker around the Knox County. You asshole. Also, you said bicycle doesn't take away resources. It eats up your calories.
Stamina.
It does. That's true.
It eats up it eats up them calories, bro.
Very true.
Clyde, why don't you go ahead and give your view on it?
I got the greatest answer ever. All right, so bro said if resources aren't an issue, give me an A10 Warthog and in the entire apocalypse. Bro, just imagine how satisfying it'd be to be flying. You look down, you see a horde, you just.
You see nothing but red mist. That would be insane. I mean, it's only a one-seater though, you know, like it's just you.
Okay, and
That would be terrifying.
I would be terrified if I saw an A10 in the sky and the world ended. Like you're just trying to sleep in your little base and you're just.
I mean, the sound would draw them in, right? So, like, you could just keep strafing the same area. Because every time you go and go by, they're like, oh, what's that sound? That's loud. Let me go towards that, right? You just turn around and now there's more and you get to do it again. It's just endless dopamine.
And then you can just drop a couple J-dams when you get bored. Oh, God. If I had to pick best form of transport, jeez, I would if I could get to the ocean, I would pick one of them billionaire yachts.
Ooh,
As a
yeah, that's
transport?
actually pretty smart.
Yeah, like if because at that point I don't have to leave the yacht. It's a billionaire yacht. I can get a helicopter and eventually land it on the helipad. I can live there. I can turn the helipad into a place I can grow crops. I can fish. I can go anywhere I want in the world as long as it's not inland. Like, as far as I'm concerned, that's you know,
Pretty cut and dry.
pretty cut and dry. That's good shit. Shit. Okay, Terry's got a question for us. He says, "Do you think Rickon versus Negan could have been done better?" I'm gonna let Otis answer this one real quick.
Rick and Negan, hey?
Yeah, like their conflict overall over a couple seasons. You think it could have been done better?
I don't know. I feel like honestly, it ended in a pretty good fashion. I know at the time, like when I was watching the show, it felt kind of like a slog with how long. Because I mean, their arc is about 2 seasons or so, I want to say, give or take. And you know, only getting 1 episode a week, it took a long time to get to the end of that arc. I think in terms of their conflict, though, I thought they played it out pretty well. In terms of like how it ended and how it progressed with the different colonies and communities, you know, what they had to do, and yeah, I mean, I honestly couldn't see it ending in a different fashion. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they probably could have done it a little bit better, right? But I thought they did pretty well with what they had. So
yeah, I feel like I just feel like they could have worked on the pacing.
I
think
agree.
that's the biggest problem. Like when we binge watched it, it was a lot more tolerable than waiting a week for all that stuff. And I guess part of the problem was that boomerang style storytelling where every episode is based on one person instead of doing what they do with The Boys, for example, where with The Boys, you know, you get everyone's storyline kind of addressed in each and every episode, so it doesn't get boring.
Right.
Yeah, I think the pacing was really what made things kind of difficult. But a lot of the problems with Rick versus Negan has nothing to do with Rick versus Negan. Like that part of the series really just comes down to pacing and the fact that they killed off Carl. Like that's probably what really holds everything back, because the Saviors were great villains, Negan was a great villain, character development was pretty excellent, but that you know, just the pacing and the fact that they fucking killed off Carl, I think that's what really really doomed the show at the end of the day. Maybe it was also fatigue, you know, maybe people just got tired of seeing the show, you know, the zombies weren't a threat anymore, but that's to be expected, you know. If you're like a year plus into Zomboid, the infected should not be an issue for you. If they are, then you're not playing the game right.
I can tell you, having been like binge playing 7 Days to Die lately, that's exactly how it is. Like in the beginning, like zombies are such a big deal, but by the time you're like 30 plus days into it, they are literally just a minor nuisance. You're running missions and buildings swarming with zombies, and your biggest threat is like if there's enough to make you reload, in which case you just pull out the now second weapon you have out of the 16 you're carrying with you. Because when you start off, you're literally fighting with 2 sticks and a rock, so it's like that far in, they're not the problem anymore.
I'm glad Radiant thinks all the problems with the Savior War didn't kill the show for him. He's on his 4th watch through. I've only rewatched the series once. I got to do it again because at some point I would like to do like a retrospective of each season for videos, take notes. But I think the show gets a lot of unjustified hate. I'll go on the record and say that. I think that the show was actually pretty good. It just had some flaws that, the biggest one for me, the pacing, I think that just gets conquered through binge watching. Because I remember like watching it with Otis, me and him were watching it. It didn't feel as bad once you binge watched it. Like the pacing wasn't as bad.
It did feel really good, I will say. I like the point you made about how, you go episode to episode and it's not necessarily everyone's it's not building everyone's character. It's, sometimes it's just one person. Like I remember when I was watching that like years ago, there's an episode where it builds on Morgan's backstory in the middle of like this entire arc. And at the time I had no idea what was happening and stuff. And I didn't really care too much about Morgan. I was more invested on what's going on between Rick and Negan's group. And so it was kind of a curveball thrown at us when we get, all of Morgan's backstory just out of nowhere. And that's the entire episode. You don't even see anybody else. So yeah, it definitely kind of left a bad taste in my mouth at the time. But yeah, when it comes to binge watching, I actually think it blended really well when you get to see all that content in a short amount of time. You can kind of draw connections, to and like back and forth between episodes and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, definitely with binge watching, I think it blends well. But yeah, over that extended period of time, because I think there's about 18 episodes in season 7 or season 6?
Yeah,
and
7.
So you have to season 7, and so that's 18 weeks, right? That's almost like half a year, or not half a year, but it's a good chunk of time.
It's more than half a year because you get those mid-season finales that we had to deal with.
That's right.
And then you had to wait like 2 seasons. You had to wait like 2 months to get back to the story.
Exactly. So I think it probably maybe was like it demoralized or demotivated a lot of people from watching the show because it was just going to take a long time to get through. So a lot of people wouldn't mind, skipping some episodes and kind of just waiting until, the conclusion of the arc sort of thing. And, kind of missing a lot of the detail in between all that stuff. So.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. But I think we can also all agree that the single biggest misstep was just killing off Carl. Like I would agree. Like that, even if it made sense for the story, just write a better story, bro. Seriously, like why kill off the? They set up back in season 2. They set up that scene where Rick is talking to Carl at the barn before Shane ends up trying to kill Rick in Better Angels, where he tells Carl like, hey, I'm gonna die, your mom's gonna die one day, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to grow up a little faster in this world, and I'm trying my best to be your dad. All this dumb shit. That was clear setup for Carl becoming the protagonist in the future. Clear setup. And that's how it is in the comics. The story ends with Carl. But not here. And here, Carl's dead. Kind of invalidated Rick's character, and that's probably why he had to leave for a while. But, yeah, easily the biggest mistake, but, the pacing issues, just binge watch it, guys. It's a lot easier to deal with that way. I'll tell you what, here's one more poll because we still got some time. Which outbreak do you fear the most? Rage virus, Haran virus, the cordyceps infected, or the Crippen virus from I Am Legend?
I forgot that's what it was called.
The Crippen.
Oh, okay. So here's the problem with this one. So I don't know anything about The Last of Us, and from what I remember of I Am Legend, zombies not being able to go out during the day or just being able to go out in sunlight in general feels a lot easier to deal with than the rest of them. I know the Haran virus is scary because it can mutate and make stronger variants of zombies. I don't know anything about the Last of Us one, though. I know there's some weird stuff in that one, so maybe you could elaborate on that one a little for me.
Sure. But first, I gotta hear what Otis has to say about this question.
I'm going to be a little bit biased because I'm definitely the most familiar with the Crippen virus from I Am Legend. I think for me, it has to be that one just because, like they only come out at nighttime, but also, you have to be concerned at nighttime. People go to sleep at night, but, you might not be sleeping at nighttime if, you're in a situation where, because they've got really good hearing and stuff, if I can recall correctly. Safety is a super big issue, and being vulnerable at nighttime, I'd rather be vulnerable all the time if things like sound and stuff weren't such an important factor, and also other things too, like when he loses his dog and stuff. Like I feel like that almost confirms that there can be vampiric animals, right? Which also is a very dangerous situation when it comes to hybrids and other stuff, right? So. Vampiric, aquatic animals and stuff, and who knows, like maybe even like livestock, right, and stuff like that, like food sources that people normally rely on, being, you can no longer eat and whatnot. So it narrows it down a lot. I'm definitely biased, and I know that I don't have the right answer, but it's gonna have to be the Crippen virus for me. So I, being a zombie content creator, have unfortunately done a lot of research on these stupid things, and if I had to make a decision, I would agree. I'd actually agree with the Crippen virus, and here's why. They're superhuman. Remember the volatiles from Dying Light? Yeah, every infected is a volatile with the Crippen virus. They just don't have armor. They all can climb walls. They're all fucking fast as shit. They could tank bullet fire and all that stuff. But the worst part is that they're more intelligent than the volatiles. They have a society. Remember in the movie, Otis, when they recreated the trap that Robert Neville created to catch one of them? That's true.
Yeah, they
did do that. They
could create traps, and they can infect dogs. And the dogs get the same stat boost that they do. And the only safety you have is, well, as long as it's out in the daylight, I'm kind of safe. That's it. That's your only safety. If they find out where you're at and they want to fuck you up, they're gonna do it. Because they're socialized. They're semi-intelligent. The Crippen virus takes it. It's like it's on a league of its own. And on top of that, I guess the next one would be the Haran virus, because like you said, it can mutate into stuff that's worse. Like the Haran virus has the volatiles. It's got sprinting zombies. Zombies that could do parkour. It doesn't have to be the volatiles. The virals can climb stuff. They have tanks.
Yep.
They have tanks. Like, are you gonna fight a zombie Hulk, Otis? Like that would suck.
Listen,
yeah, definitely not.
I'm biased on the Haran virus just from seeing a volatile literally dunk you. So
after taking a shotgun blast to the face.
No, that was beyond that. I mag dumped that thing in the face and then said, "Oh, it didn't die. We should probably get out of here." And you're like, "No, I got this." 2 double barrel shots to the face later, he's still coming. And you're like, okay, maybe I should get out of here. And in the middle, you trying to run. He said, "Nah, where you going?"
He dunked me.
He
Dunked me. I
dunked you.
I couldn't do it. Like again, he took so much damage and he still didn't go down.
Like, nah, like anything that could take that much punishment, like, yeah, you make a lot of good points about the Crippen virus. You know, yeah, they're stronger, they're basically superhuman, right? But like,
They're intelligent, bro.
at least they die when I shoot them, bro.
You gotta shoot them a lot, though. The Crippen virus, no joke. You gotta shoot them a lot.
Do they survive an entire mag dump to the face and two shotgun blasts?
Probably not. I'll give you that. Probably not.
Like, and the thing is, with the Haran virus, when we saw it, that literally just started. That like when we see the Crippen virus, we're seeing the entire post-apocalyptic scenario. We're seeing where it's fully taken over the planet. The Haran virus was contained to one city, and we were like a week into it.
Hey, but we do see what happens in the future with the second game. But you haven't played. I've seen some of that stuff though. It's basically the same. It's just the volatiles are a little bulkier.
That's terrifying.
I mean, it is terrifying, but I mean, I think it's more terrifying that I could be walking outside and then my foot will land in a snare trap that I never noticed, and I'm just gonna be hanging there until the sun goes down, and these motherfuckers gonna bring infected dogs to fucking finish me off. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not. Anytime the undead is intelligent and can climb up vertically on walls, I'm good. I'm good. Like, I'm good. Like, it's a tough choice, but I'm going with the Crippen virus. But again, Haran's got crazy stuff, man. The tanks, they're like Broly size, bro. They're huge.
I'm coming back again to the Haran virus being literally in its infancy as a virus, right? And the fact that we know that it can mutate, like, who's to say they couldn't mutate to have that same level of intelligence?
I don't even want to consider that. Like, that's like, just nightmare fuel.
The part about it to me is it's like, it's already bad, right? Like, on paper, you know, it versus the Crippen virus, I totally get your point. Like, they're intelligent zombies that are like basically superhuman. Yeah, that's terrifying. But like a virus that can mutate to like literally anything that can adapt and just mutate like that is infinitely more terrifying.
Imagine if the Crippen virus infected rats. That would suck, dude. That would absolutely suck. I mean, the next one though, the cordyceps from The Last of Us, like from the game, I would say the game version is a little more it's deadlier because of the spores, because they don't have spores in the live action. It's more like a hive mind in the live action.
Oh, so it's diet flood.
Yeah, it's diet flood, really diet flood, like not even remotely as bad as flood. But in the game, you need to wear gas masks in order to be anywhere near the spores. And that's what made Ellie so crazy, being immune, because she could just walk into an area without a gas mask. So that would suck, mainly because it's airborne, kinda, right? That's the main issue with the cordyceps infected. That's the main thing that makes it terrifying. Like, the fact that you have clickers, they're fucking blind. I don't care about a blind clicker. I could fucking throw my shoe across the room and the dumbass will fall for it every time. But, like, oh my god, his face is armored. Cool. Molotov the bitch. That ignores durability entirely. Like,
when you mention the clicker like that, I immediately think of like the Berserker from Gears of War.
See, I haven't played it.
It's an infinitely scarier version of. Okay, imagine if Doomsday was like blind, right? it just haunted you on sight and smell.
That would suck.
Like, not literally to the scale of Doomsday, but they kind of look like Doomsday.
That's terrifying in its own right. That's terrifying on its own.
They're like Z Broly, like legendary Super Saiyan level height, dude. Built like him too.
It's like what, 8 foot tall?
13
feet tall.
Literally 13 feet tall, dude.
They'd have that special sound effect of Broly's walking. The
pretty much. Like every step they take is literally like it's like the Doomsday sound when he like walks and just like stomping sound.
I'll tell you this though, the winner of this poll, I could see why people fear the Rage virus, because I'm pretty sure people have been more exposed to that movie than any of the other options, but it's just the infection rate. of the rage virus. Like, you get one droplet of blood in an orifice anywhere, and you're basically turning within 20 to 40 seconds.
I mean, the way that I look at it is like that kind of feels like how most zombie movies, shows, whatever works anyways, except, I mean, these are sprinters. The caveat to them is they could die over time from not eating, exposure, all those normal things that would kill a body.
Right. Yeah, so, you could just shoot them in the chest and then watch them bleed out.
Because like normal zombie shows, movies, and stuff like that, you die through transmission of the virus, whether it be through like bodily fluids, cuts.
But it's never 20 to 30 seconds fast.
Yeah, no, that's the difference. But like, what does that matter though?
It just makes the initial day of outbreak insane.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense because people can get infected quicker. But I feel like the opposite also works against it, right? Is it's like if people are turning right then and there,
it burns out quicker.
Yeah, it burns out quicker because it doesn't. It like spreads in the immediate area faster, but it doesn't spread in a wider area faster. Where like one that's slower, somebody could get bits, like cut, scrape, whatever, and they don't know. Well, now they ran away, and it's like 3 days later, and they're on like 100+ miles from where they last were, and they turn, and then they infect everyone in that area. Now the infection's there. I don't know. It's just the easiest out of all of these to survive. I feel
absolutely, absolutely, because you could just you don't have to go for headshots. They can starve. They're not super mutants, and they burn out quickly. Like, it would suck to be at ground zero during day one, sure, but they're just normal people. If you got riot gear on you and you got all your orifices covered, you have a good chance of fighting one off, no problem. Yeah, the rage virus is actually overrated as fuck. Like, if this was the Dawn of the Dead sprinters, I'd be more terrified, because then that'd just be like sprinters that you have to get a headshot with, and they don't starve. But with rage virus, if you could get 28 days to 40 days worth of food and water, mainly water, because you could survive a lot longer without eating, just hide in a fucking hold somewhere, you'll be fine. Whereas with the Haran virus, that motherfucker gonna come find you at night. And with the Crippen virus, you gotta worry about traps. You gotta worry about an infected dog bloodhound sniffing you out. Like, I'm good. We're good there. Oh, shit.
Rage virus, doomsday preppers definitely eating good.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Doomsday preppers gonna be just sitting there like nothing happened. Oh, man. All right, I'm gonna ask you a question. I asked this to Otis in the last live stream before we ended. Clyde, what's the one thing you would miss the most when a zombie apocalypse happens? Like, out of all of our modern,
it's got to be a commodity. It's got to be something you like take for granted every day, right? Because like the casual answer everyone's gonna say is like the internet or my phone or something like that. Like, you got books to read, you can adapt. There's times before the internet we'd make it, right? Fucking a toilet, maybe a toilet paper.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss toilet paper.
Like
toothpaste.
Toilet paper, yeah, toothpaste is definitely another one. Just like I have no clue how to make toothpaste.
And everyone and their mother's gonna have stank breath on the regular, dude.
Yeah, like I have no idea how to make toothpaste, dude. I mean, you could use like baking soda as like a substitute, but it's like that's gonna run out too. So it's like that, and like toilet paper. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, you can wipe your ass with a lot of stuff, but I mean, toilet paper just do be hitting different.
Yeah, I don't want to wipe my ass with a leaf, man.
Yeah, somebody in chat's like they're like warm water.
Electricity.
You'd get used to not having warm water. That's like humans lived for a long time without these kinds of things. So it's like eventually we could really adapt to it, but it's like really got to come down to some kind of petty commodity, right?
Yeah, like, you should also get warm water if you're able to build water. Yeah, you could dump hot rocks or coal into a bath for a little bit, let it warm up a bit, not to the point where it's boiling, and then remove it, and then you just get in there. You got a little hot bath. You know, that's how they did it back in the day. You could do that.
Running water, I think, probably be the number one thing I'd miss. I gotta say that running water.
Yeah, that would suck. For me, it's toilet paper.
Like like I said, totally get your point with toilet paper, but there's a million things you could use as toilet paper.
I don't care.
It would suck.
Absolutely.
But I think running water is both like the biggest necessity and also just straight up a commodity.
Freaking.
I would miss so much, because imagine every single time you just wanted water for literally anything, and now you got to go get it out of a pond, a stream, whatever you can go get it from, and now you got to boil it and purify it and filter it yourself just to use it for whatever.
I think in the last stream, Otis was talking about a friend of his that I don't know if it was during the stream or after the stream. He told me that he had a friend who wiped his ass with a leaf, and it turned out to be poison ivy.
That's right.
Dude, I don't understand how people can do that, right? Because it's like...
I can tell you how. I don't know what that shit looks like.
Okay, but here's the thing. When you touch poison ivy, you would know pretty quickly that it's poison ivy.
What if he's got gloves on?
Why are you grabbing shit with gloves? And
Maybe.
Like it's too scary to touch with your hands, but it's fine for your bare ass.
Maybe I didn't feel like taking off my work gloves, and I was working on shit around camp.
Figure it out.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, he figured it out. He figured it out the hard way.
Nice little trip to the hospital.
PRHCC president says wet newspaper works. Oh man, wet newspaper smears shit, bro. Like,
gotta get that 2-ply, dude.
Oh hell no. Terry says whenever I say Otis, I think I'm talking about Otis who shot Carl. I'm talking about Otis the light bender, but he's
The ascended Otis.
look at those eyes. Oh shit. Yeah, no, I would miss toilet paper and toothpaste the most. Like, that's my answer. Absolutely.
All right, so like here's the thing, right? Here's like the easiest rule of thumb to ever remember if you're gonna wipe your ass with a leaf, right? If it looks like it has like slightly like pointed edges for the leaf, or it's a different color other than a normal green color, you probably shouldn't touch it.
Well, maybe we could do what bears do. We just like rub our asses on tree bark, you know?
That is way worse. This goes back to like the
Splinters
sandpaper conversation we had of having to wipe your ass with sandpaper. It's the same thing.
Except the sandpaper won't give you splinters.
I mean, it's roughly just as bad. I think the splinters in the long run's worse.
I feel like a fun game.
Chick-fil-A drive-thru.
Actually, here's a good question before we go. Good question, real quick, for both of you. What's a good, fun way to pass time during a zombie apocalypse?
I'll let Otis go first on this one.
This is rough, because I feel like you'd lose a lot of stuff. Like me, I love to play like hockey, sports, and like also game. So I mean, you definitely lose both of those immediately if there are a zombie apocalypse, obviously, right? In terms of passing time, I don't know. I feel like maybe like swimming or something. I don't know. Like whatever people like to do that you can somewhat isolate and be able to do it, that's like fun. I don't know. That's a really tough question. I definitely would need some time to formulate a better answer, but I guess my immediate answer would maybe just like swim or something. I don't know. I feel like that would be kind of fun to just like, I don't know, pass time and who knows.
All right. Your questions or your answer's pretty good, assuming that resources aren't an issue.
Right.
So I can't disagree with that. For me, I mean, I pretty much do like a lot of what I did growing up, because there'd be just a lot of times I didn't have internet. You know, I had games that I could play, but I played them a million times. So I read a lot. You know, books aren't going anywhere. There's
board games,
billions of books. There's board games. There's my all-time favorite pastime of playing Would You Rather with Captain Gold.
Ah, fuck that shit.
I can always come up with that stuff. Also, you know, Gunpla isn't going anywhere. You can spend quite a long time just building those. So there's definitely things to do. Humans have found ways for centuries, long before electricity and all that existed, to entertain themselves, and we could as well.
I feel like my pastime would be clearing.
That's a pretty dangerous pastime you got there.
Yeah. Helps me to feel alive.
You see red?
I'm seeing red.
Yeah.
Here's not here.
If we ever get in that situation where you're like, I need to feel like I'm alive, I'm immediately kicking you in the nuts and tell me how alive you feel.
Actually, I'll give you a fun game, because Riven Forest mentioned count how many weird walkers you see. That's a good pastime. Here's a good one. We'll take it from the Dawn of the Dead movie. You look for walkers that look like celebrities, and then you headshot them. I think that's a great pastime. All right, well, ladies and gents, we've been live streaming for nearly 2 hours. I kind of want to go eat food and watch the finale of The Boys with my boys. So I want to thank you all for coming by and hanging out with all of us. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification icon. That way you may be notified when we publish a new video or when we're live streaming again. And remember, you may opine anytime if you're so inclined down in the comment section. I still post videos every Friday, so I'm hoping to see you guys at my next Gold Standard video. Again, thanks for coming here. Say goodbye to Clyde and say goodbye to Otis, the Lightbender. I'm going to see if I can stream a little more often. In the comment section, let me know if you'd like me to stream more often, and if so, what time is the best time for you guys. Anyways, I'm Captain Gold. I hope to see you guys next time.